everyone. So today in science, okay, we are going to wrap up here talking about the scientific method, and then we are going to play some review games this week, some task cards, and you will have a scientific method quiz, okay? Today we're going to focus here on one of the steps of the scientific method after you make observations, right? You turn it into a question. You have to write a hypothesis, okay? Today we are going to do practice. What is a good hypothesis? What are your expectations for how to write a hypothesis? Okay, so if you please follow along up here, and then at the end, I'm going to have you practice either alone or with a buddy writing your own hypotheses. So it's one hypothesis, two hypotheses. Okay? So remember, a hypothesis is a statement of what you think will happen and why. So it's like a prediction, but you're telling me why. Here's some tips. When you are writing your own hypothesis, which you'll practice today, they have three parts. Okay, one part of your hypothesis involves an independent variable. That is what you're testing. That's what you're studying. Okay, an example, amount of water being used. Let's go back to our penny experiment since we just did that last week. The independent variable, what did you study? What were you counting? The number of drops on a penny. So that's what we call the independent variable. In a hypothesis, you also have a dependent variable. That's the condition affected, okay? Example, the amount of plant growth, okay? That is what you are changing. So in our penny drop experiment, what did we change? We changed from head to tails. That's what we were trying to test, okay? Is the head side going to have more water or is the tail side? So we call that a dependent variable, what you're changing. The independent variable is what you're counting, the number of drops, okay? Also in science, we have a control, the condition represented in a normal situation. Example, a plant in normal sunlight with the average amount of water compared to the other plants, okay? So let's go back to how are we going to write a good hypothesis instead of just saying, I think this will happen. I believe in following a method beginning with the word if, then in the middle of your sentence having the word then. Okay, I call this the if-then method. Okay, we will be writing our hypothesis using this if-then method. This method will help you remember to get all these correct variables I was just talking about in your hypothesis. Part 1. In your hypothesis, the if statement, start your sentence literally with the word if. Okay? Write down one of the variables, maybe the one that you're changing, okay, from head to tail, or what you're counting. Then connect the statement with one of the following: is related to, is affected by, causes. Then you write down the other variable. Okay, so whatever you wrote down first, you are then connecting it with the other variable. Here's a great example of what I mean by starting your hypothesis. If the amount of cat food affects my cat's weight, and the ... represents you still need to finish your sentence. So this leads me to believe that this student is testing the amount of cat food and how it's affecting the weight of his or her cat. So the student might say, if the amount of cat food, so if I increase the amount of cat food,